Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, I'm Antoinette, a New Zealander living in Germany. And in this video today, I'm going to be talking about some of the ways that I feel Germany has changed me in a positive way. So this time in December, 9 years ago, I packed up my life in New Zealand and I moved across the other side of the world to Germany. Never in a million years would I have ever imagined I would still be living in Germany, but life is never as you plan it. I have learned so much in this time. I'm always going to be the same person, you know, Antoinette from New Zealand, but I do feel like Germany has changed me in a lot of good ways. Okay, so let's get into it. One of the ways in which Germany has changed me for the better is the fact that I have so much more body confidence since living in Germany. I remember the very first summer that I was in Germany. It was a really hot summer and we were getting ready to go to the lake. There's lots of really beautiful lakes and rivers around this area, and I remember getting into my bikini and feeling really self-conscious. I didn't want to wear the bikini. I was thinking, oh man, I'm too white, I'm not toned enough, and I just wasn't feeling good about myself until I turned up at that lake. I looked around and there were women everywhere in all shapes and sizes, all ages, wearing bikinis. Not only wearing bikinis, rocking bikinis. They were just strutting around, they didn't care what anybody thought of them, and they were just all really confident. And I just thought, what? This was so unusual for me to see, and not because I don't think curvy girls and older girls should be wearing bikinis. I think that is amazing. I just wasn't used to it, because in New Zealand, I feel like the only girls that go out there and wear bikinis are the really like skinny, toned, you know, young girls and women. And if a girl is a little bit bigger in New Zealand, usually they will wear like a one piece, or they will wear like board shorts and a t-shirt, or they just won't go to the river or the beach or the pool at all. In Germany, no one cares. You could be a 20-year-old supermodel or an 80-year-old great-grandmother and you will still be strutting around in that bikini. It doesn't matter if you are curvy, if you have no curves at all, no one cares. For me, this was such a breath of fresh air, this body positivity. I was not used to seeing curvier girls in bikinis, and I realized that curvy girls can look incredible in bikinis. They can look so sexy. Why should bikinis be reserved for the super skinny young woman? I think it's ridiculous. I think every woman should be able to rock a bikini and feel confident regardless of their size, their age. Honestly, it was so refreshing for me to see all of these beautiful women in all different shapes and sizes, just so comfortable in their skin. And ever since that day at the river, I have totally changed my whole view on, you know, wearing a bikini. Every summer I will, you know, bring out my bikini, I will rock that bikini, and I don't care if I'm white, I don't care if I put on a few pounds, you know, I still feel confident in my bikini, because everyone wears bikinis here. So thank you, Germany, for giving me the confidence to strut around in my bikini without caring what anybody thinks about me. Okay, so another way that Germany has changed me in a positive way is that I do not waste food like I did in New Zealand. Now, let me explain this. In New Zealand, I was a food waster. I am so ashamed to admit this, but I wasted a lot of food. For example, at dinner time, I would pile up my plate and I would eat maybe half of what was on my plate, and I would just leave the rest. And it had to be thrown out, because who wants to eat my leftovers? And I'm so ashamed about this. And in New Zealand, I didn't even think twice about wasting food. Well, I didn't think twice about it until Rob pointed it out to me. If you don't know who Rob is, he's my husband. He was my boyfriend at the time. And he said to me, are you really going to waste all of that food? That is crazy. I could tell that he was like really shocked that I would do that. And when I moved to Germany, I kind of realized that Germans, they don't eat like that. They will fill up their plate, they will only fill it up to as much as they can eat, and they won't really leave many leftovers. If they do, it'll just be like maybe one carrot or something like that. And I feel like in New Zealand, a lot of us leave a lot of food on the plate behind. I don't know why we do this. I have no idea. It's just maybe a cultural thing. I don't know, not even a cultural thing. It's just like a bad habit. In New Zealand, we have a lot of these kind of buffet restaurants, like Asian buffet, Indian buffet. They're so good, and it's like all you can eat. And if you actually watch people eating at these buffets, they will fill up their plates, like pile it up. they'll have like a few mouthfuls and then they'll put their plate aside and then go and pile another plate up, and then they will start eating from the other plate. And so they think, oh, all you can eat, you know, I can just waste so much food, it doesn't matter. And I've noticed, like, I've been to a few buffets in Germany. There's definitely not as many buffet restaurants here in Germany, but people do not eat like that in Germany. They'll fill up their plate, they will eat that plate, and then they will move on to their next plate. Have any of you guys noticed this? Maybe it's just me that's noticed this, but it actually makes me cringe thinking about how much food I used to waste, and I didn't even think about it. I wasn't even aware of it. I'm so much more conscious of this now. Okay, so another way in which Germany has changed me for the good is the fact that I do not waste electricity like I did in New Zealand. Oh my goodness. Maybe this has something to do with the fact I was so much younger when I lived in New Zealand. I don't know whether I would have realized this anyway if I'd lived in New Zealand, but I have noticed that Germans are very careful about electricity, about turning on lights. Now, Germans will only have one light on in a room. Probably not all Germans, but a lot of them. And the rest of the house, they will have the lights turned off. Now, in New Zealand, people will have a light on in every single room and they don't think anything of it. And I think this is terrible. I did it. I am guilty of this. A lot of New Zealanders waste electricity. Probably a lot of Germans waste electricity too. But on a whole, I believe that Germans are a lot more aware of this. That's why they make such a conscious effort to save electricity as much as they can. Also, when it comes to devices like computers, laptops, TVs, things like that, I think that a lot of New Zealanders just kind of leave these running overnight. I may be wrong, but I used to do this. And I used to waste so much electricity by doing this, it's obvious. And, you know, I think a lot of Germans are just more aware about this. They shut their devices down, they turn off lights, they only have lights on in the room that they are in. And you can kind of see this if you look into German homes at nighttime. You will see that there's not a whole lot of lights burning at night. There will be like one light in a room burning. And I don't know, if you're German and you're watching this, do you agree with me? This is just something that I've noticed. Are you consciously aware of this? Like, do you go out of a room and turn off the light? And, you know, do you only have the light burning in the room that you're in? I'm really curious to know, because maybe this is just something that I have noticed. Okay, last but not least, one of the ways in which Germany has changed me for the better is that I have much better time management since living in Germany, because in Germany it is extremely rude to be late for something. In New Zealand we have this really chilled out culture where it's just kind of like, oh, don't worry, she'll be right. Doesn't matter if you're like 10, 15 minutes late to an appointment, it's just all pretty casual. You know, ideally you wouldn't be late, but it's not a big deal if you are late. And in Germany you just don't want to be late for appointments. If someone says they're going to be somewhere in Germany, they are there at that time, like on the dot, you know, maybe a tiny bit late, and then they'll feel really bad about being late. And that's kind of the only times I've ever really seen Germans really apologize for something. It's not really part of the German culture to apologize, but if they are late for something, they are really sorry about that. So I do feel like since living in Germany, I have become so much more aware of time, and I make more of an effort to be on time wherever I go. And I think this is just a really good habit to have. And I just think here in Germany, people really appreciate it if you are on time to something. And I think anywhere in the world, people appreciate if you're on time. But in New Zealand, it's just a little bit more relaxed. I was the one in New Zealand that was just always late for everything. I didn't plan enough ahead, and I just always would run out of time at the end, which would make me late. And in Germany, I just give myself way more time to get ready, or, you know, to get organized, and then I am not late anymore. So that's definitely a positive thing. So anyway, guys, that's all I've got for this video. It was just a little bit of fun, but I really do feel like all of these things have changed me in a positive way since living in Germany. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I would love you to subscribe to my channel. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, and I will see you again really soon. Bye.